Hello there, I'm Eleanor Moritz. Welcome to North West Today. The headlines this Tuesday lunchtime. What does tomorrow's budget hold for our region, with big promises on pay and transport spending? Save our bees, the call to climate conference leaders from a Salford man keen to preserve the insects. And how one man's dancing is enhancing life for the elderly in his care. Well, unions representing some of the lowest paid in the North West are urging the government to give public sector workers a substantial pay rise after it was confirmed their year-long pay freeze would come to an end. The Chancellor Rishi Sunak will deliver his autumn budget tomorrow, and there'll be other big announcements in it for our region too. Well, Judy Hobson's here to tell us more. And big news first this morning for those on public sector pay.
Yes, it's going to affect a lot of people in our region. 5 million people nationally will get that pay rise, but what we don't know is what the figures will be and how much the rise will be. Also tomorrow, we know the Chancellor is going to mention that the minimum wage is going to go up to £9.50 an hour. Now, that's going to be welcomed by a lot of people, but some businesses are worried. One bar owner told us the pandemic has simply changed the way they work.
Post-pandemic, there's a cultural shift. People like table service now, so that's increased all our labour costs. Due to Brexit and the loss of EU nationals, we've had issues with staffing. So whereas before we could recruit trained staff, we're bringing in staff that aren't trained, which for us involves a lot more training, a lot more cost. It also involves putting a lot more bodies on the floor.
Well, that's what the boss has had to say. Daniel works there and he's a student.
I do think it's a positive, but I think living costs going up, the petrol crisis, people are panic buying, and I think I'm still really coming out of lockdown, the money worries in lockdown. So no, I don't think I think it's a positive, but I don't think I'll see a benefit just yet.
And other big things to watch out for in our region, news for our transport networks, they're going to benefit too.
Big news for transport. So Greater Manchester is going to receive just over £1 billion for transport improvements. Now, the Mayor Andy Burnham has said that's going to help develop this London-style transport system where different modes of transport all sort of connect together better. So extensions to the Metrolink and also the overhaul of the bus system that he's been talking about. It's not just Manchester. Liverpool City region will receive £710 million. That means new destinations for Merseyrail. It means priority bus lanes in some areas. Now, the Metro Mayor, Steve Rotherham, has called it a travel revolution. But bear in mind, both mayors say this is just the start. They do want more money to finish the job.
Judy, thank you. Well, on to other news now. And a 38-year-old woman has died after being hit by a car on a main road in Manchester. Police say the vehicle involved was a Mercedes G-Wagon. It happened at the junction of Alan Turing Way and Ashnold Road last night, and police are appealing for witnesses. Some students in Liverpool are to join a boycott of nightclubs tonight over drink spiking. There have been growing reports around the country, including incidents where people have been injected. Those behind the boycott want the hospitality industry to do more to protect against spiking. And the former Everton manager Walter Smith has died at the age of 73. He spent 4 years at Goodison Park from 1998. Everton chairman Bill Kenwright today described him as a great leader and a great man. He was also assistant to Sir Alex Ferguson at Manchester United in 2004. Now, next, climate change is the focus, of course, of next week's global COP26 summit in Glasgow. And environmental campaigners will be watching closely. At an allotment in Salford, 73-year-old beekeeper Jack Hobbs has concerns he wants addressing, along with his 7-year-old helper, Elizabeth.
Bees are important because they help.
How's that? You comfy?
Yeah.
Right.
I like them because I think that they're cute.
Personally, I'm not really a honey man. I'm more interested in the insect itself, of why it does it and how it does it. That's my big thing about bees.
Interested in bees because I always saw Jack doing the inspections and it looked really fun. An inspection is when you go and look at the bee colony and check if they're okay and they've got enough food.
And what the bees have done over the summer months, they filled it for honey.
Well, I Working with Jack is really fun because he's funny.
Working with Elizabeth is actually fantastic. It's good to have some youth. I won't always be around forever, and we've got to look at youth to continue these practices. That, to my eyes, is an excellent frame of honey.
How do they put the wax?
Well, they get all the wax from the abdomen and they coat it over there. The biggest advantage of having locally grown food is that it cuts down on food miles. That's where the lorries are not using the fuel that are polluting the atmosphere. I would say to these people at COP26, please, can you please address the situation with pesticides and insecticides? There's far too much being used. The effect it has on bees, that much that they can't find their way home. And of course we just lose the insect population, which is a tragedy.
We have lovely bees.
I feel like I'm kind of a bee with them.
And what do you think about that?
Yummy honey.
Fascinating, aren't they? Well, reporting on those climate issues all week. Now, next to the tale of dancer Paul Wilson, because his dream was spotlights and a West End stage. That was until the COVID pandemic hit. Then he began doing care work, and now he's pursuing a career in nursing, but using his other talents to help his patients feel better. And he's been telling us his story.
I feel like for me, it's the only thing that gives me really a sense of therapy and a sense of release. Hi, I'm Paul Wilson. I am a healthcare assistant and a dancer, and I'm going to be a student nurse in January. So I actually started dancing quite late in my life. It was about late teenage years, 16, 17. So that's why I chose to do higher education at Edge Hill and do my contemporary dance degree. The reason why I obviously went into care and into nursing and dropped more of the dance was because of the COVID pandemic. But then I quickly realised that I had a massive passion and love for the actual profession, and nothing gave me the satisfaction I get from doing care. For my dissertation project, throughout my whole degree, I was doing a lot of how dance impacted health. When you say the word dance, they obviously go, oh my God, I'm 80 odd and I can't move like I used to. And I was like, no, you've still got it, let's do it. And we used to just have a nice little boogie. Seeing how lockdown stresses and anxiety, depression, loneliness can all be just revealed and relieved from just some movement and a bit of nice old music. Just seeing that really is just so heartwarming. And I feel like it's just about helping people that can't really help themselves.
Great to see his work, isn't it? Now the weather, here's Rich Davis.
Hello, good afternoon. It has been a fairly cloudy day, damp at times, but as we go through this afternoon, it's staying mostly dry with a few bright spells around, staying pretty mild too with highs of 17 degrees Celsius. Through tonight, well, it's staying dry and mostly cloudy, and then we'll see some spells of rain gradually move into the northern part of the region. In parts of Cumbria, it could be quite wet overnight. Fairly mild with temperatures down to 13 or 14, but with that rain comes some yellow weather warnings in place for tonight and into tomorrow night as well. And that could lead to a bit of disruption as we go towards the end of this week. You can see that it's staying up there for the time being through tomorrow, but it will begin to just steadily drift a little bit more towards the south as we head into the afternoon. Still going to be a fairly mild day with those temperatures at potentially 18 degrees Celsius, but you can see from the gusts there that it could be pretty blustery as well.
That's it. Whatever you're doing, have a good afternoon. Bye-bye.